Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to my channel, Traveling with Jose. I'm Jose, and for today's video, I'm going to be talking about the time I almost died in the Navy. Yeah. So, long time no see, guys. It's been over 3 months now, so of course it's time for me to actually get back to posting at least another video. You know, hopefully I see you again in 3 to 4 months, maybe less. I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot I could inform you guys on, but today's video we're gonna be talking about the time I almost died from appendicitis, of all things. Now, my story is a little bit different because of course I was on deployment while all of this happened. I was actually on the last 2 weeks of my deployment, so I actually missed out on this huge exercise that we actually do as AOs, as the job that I used to have, which was getting all of the bombs, all of the missiles, everything we didn't need from our ship onto another one because we were about to pull into port. So my job would have been to drive a pallet jack with all these bombs and missiles on it and then maneuver them on a certain part of the ship so that they could be transported off. Now, I didn't have to do that, and usually that's like when AOs kind of, you know, run things on the ship. That's our biggest evolution, so I didn't have to do that because of this appendicitis. Not exaggerating whatsoever, and of course I'm going to start from the very beginning. Hopefully guys, stay throughout this video. If you do like it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. So I remember that I had a pain in my stomach that didn't go away, so I thought maybe, hey, galley food, that'll do it. That'll make you sick and you want to go to medical. So I go to medical, and they tell me that it's probably a bug from bad melon. Yeah, I know, the doctor told me this. He's like, oh, you know, we had a bad batch of melons come in and you probably ate it and that's what made you sick. So I was like, huh, makes sense, okay. So they gave me pretty much medicine that numbs the throat and numbs the stomach so that you don't feel sick, right? So I took that for some time, and actually it did go away. You know, I didn't have those symptoms. I didn't have nausea. I had my appetite again. My stomach didn't hurt. Whatever, a month went by. So then I get another pain, but this time the pain is a lot worse. So I can't actually even stand up anymore from this pain. But you know, I'm in the Navy, so I try to push through it because I'm trying to do my work and trying not to look like a little wimp. I remember that day in particular. We are doing training on some missiles, and for the life of me, I cannot stand up. I get a chair and I sit down during this training, which, you know, you're not supposed to do. But then I tell them, hey, I'm in agony, so I'm gonna sit down, okay? So I'm seated, and I think that day I just I go to sleep, right? Like, I just fight through the pain and I go to sleep. Well, the next day I wake up, and I work the night shift, right? So this is where things get complicated. Because I work the night shift, the doctors aren't there, and the only people that are there are the HMs, and it's like me just kind of acting in as a doctor pretty much, right? So I mean, they do have their training, I'll give them that, whatever. So I go to them and they're like, hey, well, you know, you're dying right now. Well, it looks like you're dying, but the doctors, well, they're officers, and you know, they work in the morning, and you know, at nighttime, unless it's an emergency, we're not gonna wake them up. So, you know, I wait pretty much, that's all I have to do. So I wait till early in the morning to go back in. So because this pain was intense, and I'm telling you, like, I'm kind of leaving some stuff out. Like, when I was at work, I was actually turning a different color and laying on my back, and everybody's like, okay, like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, oh, nothing, I'm good. Well, they actually have to drag me to medical to actually get me examined, and that's when I tell you that they're like, oh, look, it looks like you're dying, but there's nothing we can do about it. So the next morning comes around, right, and the doctor gets to see me, and you know, he's like, oh, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, and I'm like, you know what, no, I just googled it like last night, I think it's appendicitis. So one doctor gets me in with another doctor, right? So he calls in his doctor buddy, an actual surgeon, and with this guy, I'm like, hey, look, it's appendicitis. Like, I don't know what else you want me to say. Like, you know, we can't do much on the ship with testing and stuff, but I'm telling you, it's appendicitis. I'm no doctor, but I definitely talked to a friend who had it before. I looked up the symptoms on Google, and you're not supposed to do that, but hey, you're a doctor, tell me what's good, fix me, okay? So we're out to sea, right? So that just complicates things a lot more. He doesn't even tell me, because I do blood work, I do urine work. But anyways, he doesn't tell me that I'm gonna get immediate surgery. You guys wanna know how I found out I'm gonna get immediate surgery? So I pretty much had the guy at the top of our chain of command come to me and tell me, hey, are you ready for the surgery? I'm looking around like, what surgery? He says, well, you're gonna get immediate surgery for your appendicitis. And I'm like, great, what do I do now? He's like, okay, so right now you pack your bags and you get ready to be at medical for at least 2 weeks. And he wasn't kidding. I was there for 2 weeks recovering. Now we're gonna go into the surgery and everything, I guess. And it's immediate. Like, I get my stuff, I unpack, and they're pretty much, I can't remember everything, this happened a long time ago, but I put my stuff down. They're putting IVs in me, they're doing other tests, but before I know it, it's like, okay, sign this paperwork, this is the amount of anesthesia we're gonna put in you, this is like stating that if anything happens to you, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. And I was like, okay, I'm ready. I had no time to be scared. That's the crazy thing, I had no time. It was just like, okay, go go go, and your surgery's coming up. I just remember changing into the gown that they gave me, and he put in the little syringe on, I think it was my wrist. Yeah, I think it was my wrist, or it could have been up here, I don't remember. So he puts in the syringe, and then I'm out, completely out, and then all of a sudden I wake up. And I just remember being like groggy, of course, from the anesthesia and the surgery. And who was it? The nurse, a really nice officer lady. She's like, all right, how do you feel? Like, you know, do you know where you are? Blah, blah, blah. So, you know, I answer all her questions. And then, you know, I come to and I'm like, oh my God, okay, how did everything go? Am I okay? And she tells me, oh, well, you know, you're perfectly fine. The surgery was a success. Now you just have to recover. And let me get to that part of recovery. Okay, recovery was intense. Recovery was one of the most intense things I've ever had to do in my life, physically, other than climb Mount Fuji. I'm going through recovery, and like I have some notes here of like my experience and what I want to mention so that I don't forget. While recovering, I did have people that were in my division come visit me, so you know that was pretty nice of them, because you know they have their own schedules and stuff to do, but they took time out of their day to come and see me, see how I was doing. So my friends come in to see me, but since I'm recovering and I can't laugh, I don't know, anything my friends would say would just like make me laugh, and I'd be like, all right guys, like I love you, but get the hell out of my room because I can't laugh. I'm like pretty much, you know, they cut me open, so I'm trying to recover those little spots. And after a while, I just didn't want anybody to come and see me. I remember my chain of command wanted to come and visit me to see how I was doing, and I told the nurse, I was like, hey, I can't see anybody right now, like I don't feel good. But the other reason was I just don't want to see them. Like I really, you know, like no, I don't want to see my chain of command. Hopefully you never have to go through appendicitis, but if you do and you watch this video and you learn of the symptoms or what is to come if you do have surgery, listen up. Let me go back a little bit, and I want to say that yes, I did almost die, and it's not just because I had appendicitis, right? The thing is that my appendix actually burst. So the infected fluid that was in it, the rotten stuff, was could have gotten into my bloodstream and died right then and there. And you know how I was telling you guys I was trying not to look like a wimp? Well, me trying not to look like a wimp could have resulted in my death. Yeah. Aside from feeling sore and just beaten up and not wanting to get up or do anything with your life, the most uncomfortable thing is that there's gas in your stomach, right? And that's because they pump gas into you to open up your stomach so that they can see the appendix better. I just watched a video about appendicitis, so I kind of got like re-informed on things. So the thing is that gas won't escape. Like, it hurts. It's like holding in a fart after a really long date. Well, imagine not letting it escape, right? And just, it's hurting your stomach all day. You're just really uncomfortable. Well, that's the same feeling I had. Now, with eating and drinking, right? I went 2 weeks without eating or drinking. And I can tell you that I wrote that down. And I wrote down actually the first meal that I had the appetite or the courage to eat. And that was actually bread and banana pudding. That was my my first meal after those 2 weeks. And that's because when I tried to drink water or eat anything, actually, I had explosive diarrhea. I'm not gonna lie, I had explosive diarrhea. Well, there's like people walking by. Hopefully they don't hear this. Anyways, I couldn't drink anything, I couldn't eat anything. I was just on IVs for like 2 weeks. It's pretty intense. I remember telling people, like, I don't wish this on my worst enemies. And I know it sounds like, oh, it's just appendicitis. I mean, it's surgery. Yeah, they go in and cut that little thing. Talking about it, so I saw the appendix, right? And the doctor brought it out in this little jar. It's the size of your pinky, pretty much. It just looks like my pinky, but swollen. And it was inside of some black fluid, which was the infected fluid that was inside my stomach. So officially, how it works, when you are sick in the Navy, you get SIQ days. So it's sick in quarters, right? So after the surgery, after recovering for 2 weeks, they gave me an additional 5 days of SIQ, which was kind of just like lounge around, not do anything for 5 days, right? But then they gave me LLD, which stands for light limited duty. So that means like you go to work, you know, you have to be there all day, do your shift, but you don't have to do intense things. Like if something is heavy, you don't have to pick it up, or if you need to lay down whenever, they'll give you breaks. So I had LLD for 3 weeks. So all I'll say with LLD is think about yourself, okay? I know there's a lot of work to be done always, but think about yourself. People might call you out for not working, even though you're there, but that's none of their business. You're the one that's recovering, you're the one that's sick. Take care of yourself first. Don't care about the job, because in the end, from what I realized, it's a cycle. There will always be work to be done. There will be other workers there too, you know, and if at the cost of your own health for the job to get done, it's not worth it, okay? So take care of yourself. Somebody else on the ship actually that I worked with got appendicitis, and he had a scar that was like this big on his stomach, right? So I have 3 little scars, one inside my belly button, one to the lower left side of my belly button, and then one on my pubic bone. So practically no scars. I feel bad for the other guy because his is really, really bad. And that's how it was before they invented or have this new method where it only takes those 3 holes. One for, I think it's the camera, and then like 2 for the tools that they use to hold on to the appendix, and the other one to cut it. That's what I saw in another video, and that's what they did to me, that procedure. So yeah, I'm not exaggerating in this video. I mean, it's just something that happened to me while I was in the Navy. They did actually think about flying me off the ship, because for the most part, if it's a dire emergency, but there's some time to be spared, you will be flown off to an actual hospital. That wasn't the case for me, because I'm pretty sure a couple more hours would have passed, I would have probably been dead, or I probably would have been injured internally a little more if I would have let more time pass by, or if the doctor would have made that call. So oh yeah, talking about that, I want to talk about the surgeon. Now, like I said, the medical does get a bad rap, but the surgeon that attended me was amazing. I have actually never had surgery for anything, and he was amazing. He actually afterwards came back to talk to me, and we actually became, I guess friends, you know. We had, well, not friends, we actually had a little bit of a relationship, because afterwards I did have to see him for follow-ups and checkups. So, you know, I got to know him. I actually ended up learning that he was studying Spanish because his wife is from Spain. So after I learned that, I just talked to him in Spanish the whole time. And his Spanish is really good, and there's no like American accent behind it. So I was pretty impressed. Smart man. And I'm glad he saved my life. That's pretty much it for this little story time kind of video. I do want to make more videos, and I have a couple things that I want to work on, but give me more ideas, because sometimes I think about the ideas that I have and I'm like, that won't work, or like, maybe nobody cares about this. So go ahead and leave a comment what you think about this video. Have you had your appendix removed? You know, give me a thumbs up at least for this video and for actually making a little bit of a comeback on YouTube. We are actually over 20,000, I think over 22,000, which is kind of crazy. Thank you guys for the continued support. I will definitely see you in another video. Until then, take care. Bye.